What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today, reactions to the classics. We got a reaction to the top 10 songs of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. So I'm looking forward to this. CSNY is just how we're going to
exactly.
address them from here on out. And as with a lot of our lists, this comes courtesy of our patron and a longtime supporter and friend of the channel, Rich. Rich, appreciate you, man. He's done a top 10 list of Van Morrison, Chicago, and a plethora of others.
Yeah, he has. Always does a fantastic job. Rich knows a ton about music, an encyclopedia, if you will. So on this list, you may agree, you may not, but trust that Rich has a vast knowledge and took a lot of time putting this together.
And speaking of Rich, here is what he had to say about this list. These guys, despite their limited output of material, have a boatload of quality to choose from. They didn't get along well, but still produced some classic tracks, which cannot be denied. Stills has a solo song called Love the One You're With, which is worthy of being on this list as well. Neil Young's solo work, of course, is fantastic, and Rich might submit a top 10 list of that later. And tell us when they were, tell us more about the accolades of the group.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and all three members were also inducted for their work in other groups. Crosby for the Byrds, Stills for Buffalo Springfield, and Nash for the Hollies. Neil Young's been inducted as a solo artist and as a member of Buffalo Springfield. So this list has some CSN and some CSNY, but so it has the scope of what is in the whole list. It's why it's a CSNY top 10 list. And if you like this video, before we get into it, please give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Check out our social media below. Great Facebook group, Discord, Instagram. And also, if you'd like us to do a top 10 list for you, react to an album, react to a song, or support us in any way as the patrons make this channel possible, check out our link for that below. And Trey, it's not going to have the music, is it?
No, it is not, but no need to worry. If you want to hear the music, there will be a link down below to where you can check out the full video. But on YouTube here, due to copyright, we're just going to chop that out. But so you can just kind of watch whichever way you prefer. I think that about covers the upfront stuff.
It does.
Covers the quick facts. So let's get into this list. I know a few songs on this list.
I do too, but I don't know much CSN or CSNY.
No. So let's see what we got here. We're gonna start with number 10 from Deja Vu, 1970, CSNY. We have Carry On, and trust me, people, this is not the last time a song from Deja Vu is going to be on this list.
That is correct.
So this was written by Stills, released as the B-side of Teach Your Children. When nearing the end of the recording sessions for this record, Graham Nash told Stills that they still didn't have an opening track, which is kind of important.
Yeah, very important, especially back then.
Stills took two incomplete songs, one being the song Questions he'd written for and recorded with Buffalo Springfield, and edited them together with parts of a jam session from a few days earlier to produce one finished piece.
It was also an inspiration for Led Zeppelin, whose track Friends on Led Zeppelin 3 is generally seen as being inspired by it, including a similar slack string C-tuned acoustic opening. So as always, we're going to have the lyrics up. We're not really going to say anything while we're listening to the music. That way, if you choose not to watch the whole thing, you're just watching it here on YouTube, you'll get to see our thoughts on it. Once again, Rich, as always, we greatly appreciate you.
All right, I'm looking forward to this one. Let's start it with Carry On. What a way to start off a list, man. If that's number 10, we're in for a treat here at this on this top 10. I'm telling you right now. Really, really love that tune, and what a way to open a record and open this list.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It it had everything. It had the acoustic at the start, the harmonize, and everything you expect, and then some strong electric at the end. Don't know who that was, but it was a little reminiscent of Neil and Crazy Horse right there. But and you mentioned during the song, really good message on this song too.
Oh, definitely. And I enjoyed the start with the just that that guitar coming in, and then you had the electric one really screaming. They interplayed off each other well. You had the line, to sing the blues, you got to live the dues and carry on. Then we had a little bit of a bluesy little riff and guitar playing right there. I thought that was pretty cool. And then midway through the song, you had the switch, you know, and knowing that this is two different songs, or Stills kind of was able to combine two different ideas that he had. You can kind of see that play out in the tune.
For sure.
And yeah, man, those harmonizing, the love is coming to us all, just hit you right in the middle of the tune, man, like a truck. I really, really love that. Love the lyrics. And yeah, man, that one got me hyped, and I'm glad that's not the last track on Deja Vu on
No,
this
it is
list
not.
for sure. So good pick there, Rich. Now we're gonna go to number 9. Number 9, Helplessly Hoping from Crosby, Still, and Nash, 1969. This was tell us a little bit about this
It's
one,
written
Dan.
purposely in a alliterative form by Stills. They recorded it during their first recording session as a group, so that was pretty interesting. This is the very first thing they popped out. With producer Paul Rothschild, Trey,
Right.
of Doors,
Doors
fame,
fame, yeah.
releases a B-side of their debut single, Marrakesh Express. I might have butchered that, guys, but you'll know if I did, and hey, forgive me.
All right, well, number 9.
In the tradition of 60s music, I know it's late 60s, only a little over 2.5 minutes long.
That's right.
Right.
What'd you think of this?
Well, I mean, you kind of get what you would expect, like in especially, not that they're around very long anyway, but very early, just basically all harmonizing, very folky, very stripped back, very acoustic, just kind of what I imagine when I imagine Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and we can throw Young in there as well. He wasn't in on this one, but it's kind of my imagination of it. What did you think?
Oh, I thought this was unbelievable, honestly. I love not only the harmonizing, which was, there from the jump and which was beautiful on the ears, but
Yeah.
also I really enjoyed his songwriting techniques, stills with the alliteration going
Yeah.
in there, gasping at glimpses of gentle true spirit, and of course, from the start, helplessly hoping her Harley Quinn hovers nearby, and then yet wordlessly watching, he waits by the window and wonders. I don't know. I just kind
Be
of
difficult to do it. I think difficult to sing, man.
and again, it really gets emotional into the heart of what this song's about, which is about a breakup. I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly.
And love the chorus, man. They are one person. They are two alone. They are three together. They are
Four.
for each other.
Yeah,
but
what a little
FOR.
trick there, yeah.
So just everything about this, man, hit for me. I mean that was coming in nice. I think most of the stuff I know is CSNY. I don't know
Right.
if I know much of just CSN.
Pretty well after this list, my man.
So that was a fantastic one, Rich. So number 9 coming in strong yet again, and now we're gonna go to number 8.
Yeah, Wasted on the Way from Daylight again, all the way in 1982, so it's a CSN, featuring harmony vocals by Timothy B. Schmidt. First top 10 hit in 5 years. Went to number 9 in the U.S. I was a little surprised. This is when I started getting into music. I would have been 10 or 11, depending on when this was released in 82. I don't remember any CSN, so I was surprised that they still had success at that time, because in my head, they're late 60s and just a little bit early 70s. So we'll see. Maybe I know this song.
Well, I like it too, because we'll jump ahead over a decade from this last track.
Yeah, exactly.
So number 8. So you ended up
I
knew
did
that
end up
one.
knowing this one, man.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I like it a lot, man. I think it's great. I think it sounds like something they could have done in the 60s or early 70s. I don't think, obviously, they didn't change their sound, at least in my opinion, for the early 80s, and that's a good thing, because I don't think it would have worked.
No, and this is
Unless I'm proven wrong by the next song, because it's from the same album.
and then we got Nash writing this one. So the first time he takes the songwriting credit on this list, and I dug this one. Had a little country vibe to it.
Did?
It was more so in the middle in that instrumental section, and I think it kind of hits. This is probably one you appreciate the older you are as well.
I think so. Yeah, exactly.
Just because of what the subject's about.
Yeah.
You gotta all this time wasted on the way. And there's so much time to make up everywhere you turn. Time we have wasted on the way. When you were young, did you question all the answers? Did you envy all the dancers who had all the nerve? Look around you now. You must go for what you wanted. Look at all my friends who did and got what they deserve. So, the old adage, man, carpe diem. You got to seize the day, man.
Yeah,
so,
time's the one thing you can't get more of. But however, I do think for most of us, no matter what we've done or accomplished, I think you got to be careful of fighting that. Man, I wished I would have done more. I think you're always going to wish you would have done more. But great message in the song for sure.
And I mean that old adage, time you enjoyed wasting wasn't wasted time. That type of deal. That kind of comes.
We're throwing out the cliches today on RTTC, man.
All right, and as you were mentioning, Dad, we are going to stick with this same record. And actually, looking at the track listing, it comes right after the song we just listened to, we have Southern Cross. This was written by Stills and Rick Curtis and Michael Curtis. Southern Cross is based on the song 7 League Boots by Rick and Michael Curtis. Stills explained, the Curtis brothers brought a wonderful song called 7 League Boots, but it drifted around too much. I rewrote a new set of words and added a different chorus, a story about a long boat trip I took after my divorce. It's about using the power of the universe to heal your wounds. Once again, I was given somebody's gym and cut and polished it.
And it was released as a single, went to 18 in the U.S., which is why I wonder if I'll know this as well. Still sings lead throughout, with Nash joining on the second verse, because Crosby did not reunite with Stills and Nash until the album was well underway. I won't get into that story, but it is an interesting one. His vocals are not featured on the album version, although he did appear in the video and subsequently sang the song with the group in live performances. The song and titles reference the Crux constellation known as the Southern Cross.
Exactly. All right. There we go,
well,
man.
We'll find out 3 seconds in whether Sean knows this one or not.
Southern Cross. You knew this one, too.
I did. I think, in all transparency, man, it's like it's one of those things where it's hard when you do lists like this that you don't make, when you don't really know all the songs by any means, have no familiarity with them, and then you come across a few songs that maybe you didn't think you knew, but you knew. And, we pick 3 favorites. It's kind of our tradition here on the top 10 when we do other people's at the end.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to pick the ones you're greatly familiar with, because it brings you back to a time and place. And I think that, I tell you all that to tell you, it's going to be difficult on this song not to pick it as a favorite, because the chorus part in particular is just flipping awesome, man. It's just so good.
Yeah, that's what struck me too.
It's so good.
Again, an interesting technique where, Stills would just sing it by himself.
Right.
But then we get the pre-chorus, then they kind of come in after every couple words, and then the chorus. Like, it all just built to that chorus where
it's just awesome. Awesome arrangement.
Musically and vocally just going all in with it. I preferred Wasted on the Way, I think, but as Southern Cross kept going on and on, I was like, I don't know, man.
It's that chorus, man, just puts it over the top.
I started thinking, and again, a cool little technique, Stills was able, from the Curtis brothers, to kind of, as he said, polish the gem, so to speak, with this.
And kudos to him for giving them credit that, because not all artists do that, Trey, as we know.
And, again, kind of
Shout out to Jimmy Page. Go ahead.
I love it. You got the love kind of theme in here. She is all that I have left, and music is her name. He's talking about a ship here,
right?
Because his love's gone, and then at the very end, he notes, so we cheated and we lied and we tested and we never failed to fail. It was the easiest thing to do. So this relationship was, unhealthy, it seemed, in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
But hey, man, he notes, somebody fine will come along, made me forget about loving you, in the Southern Cross. Again, remember, y'all, that constellation up above, because he's out here on a ship.
And just thinking about his divorce.
Enjoying his boat and his music, to forget about the lost love. So there we go, man. Nice number 7 pick there, Rich. And now we're going to go back to 1969.
To the debut, man.
Long time gone, number 6.
Don't have any research on it, guys, so let's just listen.
That was interesting, because that comes literally right after Helplessly Hoping. But this, was quite different, I think, musically than that, just because it was more a rocker. You had the organ in there a little bit. Probably my least favorite on the list.
Mine as well. It's funny you said that. Which, I'm sure if you were living it out when it happened, it's probably great.
Which, probably speaks more to the strength of this first top 5 than the song itself. Agreed. But, this was written by Crosby. I didn't mention that at the start. I don't know, just something seems to be maybe missing just a little bit from it for me. It was just kind of almost stuck in the middle between going in with the rocking and then still with the folk.
Yeah, I agree.
But I still kind of like the message of what it had to say. I like you got to speak out. You got to speak out against the madness. You got to speak your mind if you dare. But don't know. Try to get yourself elected. If you do, you better cut your hair. And then, such a long, long time coming before the dawn, and then he notes, but the darkest hour, it always comes just before the dawn, keeping those cliches going, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, number 6, this is not the last time we're going to visit CSN, their debut record, that's for sure. And now we're in the top 5, we're going to jump ahead a year back to CSNY. Young's feeling a little left out here. He is. He's gonna jump back in to the track Woodstock from Deja Vu.
Yeah, and this is written by Joni Mitchell. 3 versions of the song. That's what things were different, so much different back then, Trey. 3 versions of the song released in the same year, 1970. Joni's, this one, which is the best-known version in the U.S., and the British band Matthew's Southern Comfort, which I've never heard of, maybe you have, became the best-known version in the U.K. Lyrics obviously refer to the Woodstock concert in 1969, telling the story of a concert goer on a trek to attend the festival. Mitchell, who was unable to perform there due to scheduling conflicts, was inspired to write the song based on an account of the festival relayed to her by her then boyfriend, drumroll, Graham Nash, who had performed there.
And we note a little bit of that in our Joni Mitchell Blue album review, so if you're interested in that, check that out. We got a decent amount of Joni stuff up on the channel.
We do, and CSNY was the lead single of this album, 11 in the U.S., 3 in Canada. Was one of the few Deja Vu tracks where Crosby, Still, Nash, and Young all performed their parts in the same session. You get 4 powerhouses like this together. They're going all different directions, and most of the time they were never in the studio together, which I don't know if a lot of people realize.
Interesting. And since they all learned the song from Mitchell herself, the band's version introduced major changes in tone, though. So Hendrix, actually, Jimi Hendrix, one of the GOATs, was involved early in the song's development, and a recording taped on September 30th, 1969, half a year before the record came out, with Hendrix playing bass and overdubbing guitar, was released in 2018 on the album Both Sides of the Sky. I'm going to have to check that out.
I'm going to have to find that.
I'm a huge Hendrix fan, as I know Rich is. Sound engineer Eddie Kramer stated that with Jimmy helping the song along, it sounds like Crosby, Stills, and Hendrix. Ooh,
wow.
That's big time. And then a different recording of Woodstock by CSNY was played under the closing credits of the documentary film Woodstock, which was released in March 1970. They wasted no time to pump out the documentary.
No, they didn't. I guess yet another version of the song being in there.
So. That's right. So
I don't think I know this, but we'll find out.
Yeah, let's see what they got here, man. Woodstock, number 5. I think this one really kind of it really is a great encapsulation of the time there. I love the imagery. I mean, I know Joni wrote it, but just kind of that last gasp of kind of the hippie movement type of deal that Woodstock seemed to signify.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think great lyrics, and as you said, Joni wrote it, but CSNY does it great justice.
Yeah, I like the up-tempo nature of it, especially in the middle. There was that breakdown with that great electric guitar.
As you would expect.
I could definitely see Hendrix jumping on that.
I'm definitely going to look for this version with Jimmy.
And, a lot of kind of a spiritual component to this as well. I mean, even the first line, well, I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, tell me where you're going. And then, the guy mentions he's going to Yasker's farm, which is where Woodstock was held. Join a rock and roll band, get back to the land and set my soul free. Again, that music kind of setting you free theme is kind of in there. And then, of course, the chorus, we are stardust, we are golden, we are billion-year-old carbon, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden. Again, kind of made me think of the Adam and Eve, back to the garden at the very start. So yeah, man, I dug that too. And then at the end, he says, by the time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, and everywhere was a song and a celebration. Again, just puts that imagery of the stuff you see of Woodstock. And at the end, he kind of switches the chorus up just a little bit.
Yeah, we are stardust, we are golden, we are caught in the devil's bargain, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden. So yeah, just that imagery, as you said, that religious imagery in here.
I like that switch there, man. Deja Vu, killing it. And we're going to keep on the Deja Vu train. I know this tune. I really, really love this tune. This is going to be in my top 3, I would assume.
Trey's already calling
it. Our House. And again, Deja Vu, written by Nash, went to 30 in the U.S. as a single. The song is an ode to countercultural domestic bliss, written by Nash while he was living with Joni Mitchell. Makes an appearance in one of my favorite TV shows as well, This Is Us.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. The song originates in a domestic event that took place while Nash was living with Joni in her house in Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles, after they had gone out for breakfast and had bought an inexpensive vase, or vase, depending on how fancy you want to get, on Ventura Boulevard. Nash wrote the song in an hour on Mitchell's piano. There you go. Don't brag about it, man. 1 hour. Number 4 already.
Just as good as I remembered it. Our House. Just a lovely melody. I think this is the first time we really heard the piano in any CSNY type of track.
Yeah, and simple lyrics, short lyrics, but it's just what we talked about. I'll light the fire, you place the flowers. And the Voss, that's what they're going with that you bought today, staring at the fire for hours and hours while I listen to you play your love songs all night long for me, only for me. So it just, it paints the picture of, I feel like I'm there with them. And I thought it was a little, it could be a little Beatlesque at the start.
I was thinking that, yeah, it definitely has not a psychedelic twinge to it, but just kind of that poppy, Baroque pop almost at times type of atmosphere. And maybe that's one of the reasons I love it so much. And I again, really impressed on this whole list with the progression of the tunes that CSNY does, and that's on display again here. Chorus comes in about halfway in the song where you get the beautiful "Our house is a very, very, very fine house," and just kind of again the music climaxes and just everything is just it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. At the risk of sounding oversimplifying it and whatnot, so right. I thought it was very, very awesome, and I like the la 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 interlude, just kind of get you a bit hypnotic and just lost in the track. So I dug it, man. As I said before, that'll be in my top 3 more than likely, and we're gonna stay here. Posted up on Deja Vu, the last one from Deja Vu. We got Teach Your Children. This was written by Nash when he was a member of the Hollies, but it was never recorded by that group in studio, though there is a live recording of it.
From 83, yeah.
And it went to 16 in the U.S., 8 in Canada. Stills is on lead vocals for the first verse, and then Nash is on lead vocals for the second verse.
Yeah, that's a nice little twist there, too. Nash, who's also a photographer and collector of photographs, has stated in an interview that the immediate inspiration from the song came from a famous photograph by Diane Arbus, Child with Toy Hand Grenade in Central Park. The image, which depicts a child with an angry expression holding the toy weapon, prompted Nash to reflect on the societal implications of messages given to children about war and other issues. The recording actually features a guy who we just did a top 10 list for his group, Jerry Garcia, on pedal steel guitar.
There we go.
He had made an arrangement that in return for him playing steel guitar on this song, CSNY would help members of the Grateful Dead improve their vocal harmony for their upcoming album, Working Man's Dead and American Beauty. What a
dude! It all
tit for tat, my man.
It all comes together, man.
Yeah, we're bargaining. I like it.
I like that. Got to use use your talents and trade with each other, make everybody better. So cool stuff.
And rare to find, especially nowadays where the competition is so ramped up. So kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, we mentioned it in the song, that pedal steel and even the vocal delivery here by Nash and Stills, like it had a very Grateful Dead-esque type of type of sound to it.
Did you know this song?
Dude, as it was going on, I'm like, man, this melody does sound familiar to me, but I don't know if it's that Grateful Dead top 10 is like merging with me into thinking that I did. Did you?
I know this song and I know it from movies. I don't know which movie.
I'm wanting to say I did know this, but obviously not well if I'm questioning myself if I knew it or not.
Well, true, but yeah, this is kind of like another song that just seems like what I would envision for this group, like the sound.
No, you're right, man. It definitely has that vibe to it, and here it's a really kind of all hands-on effort. It seems with both two different lead vocalists here, and again, kind of the subject matter that is a bit timeless, I guess. A lot of these songs have been
I agree.
Pretty timeless. Our next song may be an exception to that, but this one too, it just kind of speaking about that generation gap and the perspectives of both the children and the parents there.
Because it goes from teach your children well to teach your parents well.
See, I like that. I like that shift at the end. Like that first chorus, teach your children well. Your father's hell did slowly go by. And feed them on your dreams, the one they picked up, the one you'll know by. You'll never, experienced the world that in 70s, 80s, first part of the 90s, and lived something I will never live.
Correct,
of
yeah.
course. And then then I was born in 95, grew up. I can remember 9/11 very vaguely. Remember the switch from where there wasn't a smartphone in everybody's pockets,
Right.
and type of thing. And then my sister, who was born in 2006, she doesn't know a world where
No.
where everybody didn't have smartphones,
Yeah.
or technology wasn't such a big part of society. And who knows, 20 years from now, how much the world will change.
True that.
It's one of those things where every generation is going to grow up with its own unique challenges and whatnot. And I think there's got to be respect on both sides, from both
sure.
the parent and the child perspective.
For sure.
But man, I dug this one just for how different it kind of did sound with that pedal steel guitar, and Jerry bringing a little bit different stuff in this. And this comes after Carry On. So I mean, Deja Vu, man. I got to go listen to the. I mean,
Yeah, we're already a little ways down the road on it. Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
killing it. That is the last appearance of Deja Vu. It had a great performance on this list. And
did.
now we're going to a single, a very, very famous tune, but one I'm not sure I've actually heard.
I'm not
or
sure either,
not.
but I wonder, once again, I always wonder once we hear it if I'll know it.
We got Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, a very heavy tune, protest song released in 1970, composed by our guy, Uncle Neil Young, in reaction to the Kent State shootings that, of course, occurred May 4th, 1970. Went to 14 in the U.S., 16 in Canada, 395 on Rolling Stone's Top 500 Songs of All Time in the Grammy Hall of Fame. And he wrote the lyrics to this track, Young did, after seeing the photos of the incident in Life magazine.
Yeah, the record was mastered with the participation of the Four Principals, rush released by Atlantic because it's only a single, so it's not on an album, and heard on the radio with only a few days delay. This is despite the group already having their hit song Teach Your Children
there we go.
on the charts at the time. How ironic. After the singles were released, it was banned from some AM radio stations because of the challenge to the Nixon administration in the lyrics, but received airplay on underground FM stations in larger cities and college towns. Trey, can you imagine a world where you're censored like that just because certain politicians don't like things? Wow. That's crazy
right.
to think of in 2020, 50 years later, but I digress. The lyrics help evoke the turbulent mood of horror, outrage, and shock in the wake of the shootings, especially the line, 4 dead in Ohio, repeated throughout the song. 10 soldiers and Nixon coming refers to the Kent State shootings where Ohio National Guardsmen shot and killed 4 students. Crosby once stated that Young keeping Nixon's name in the lyrics was, quote, the bravest thing I ever heard. The American counterculture took the group as its own after this song, giving the 4 a status as leaders and spokesmen they would enjoy to a varying extent for the rest of the decade, because it takes courage to take on that role. And we know from doing tons of Neil material in the 70s that one thing that Mr. Young had and still has is courage.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. From all, he never shied away from, speaking and singing about what he wanted to. So this is going to be a heavy track, I'm sure.
I'm
I
sure
can't
as
believe
well.
I haven't heard this actually yet, and maybe I have, and I just
We're about to find out.
and I haven't remembered. But let's get going, man. Number 2, Ohio. Man, a powerful tune indeed. And I mean, I can't remember when Neil was born, but he had to have been, what, early 20s, mid 20s at this time, somewhere in there.
I would think so.
And so to come out with this track and so quickly too. I mean, we mentioned it
Born
was
in 45, so he's 24 when this came out. So yeah.
So he's my age, man. At this time.
So get to cracking, buddy.
And the fact he was able to, they put this down and it was on, the airwaves just, a couple weeks after this happened, man. It was a timely thing to obviously come out with. And man, this just, I mean, yes, the instrumentation and lyrics were great, but I think this points to the larger fact of just the importance of music and songs in general, that, this thing's 50 years old. And, if this song wasn't made, I don't think that this, Kent State shooting would be in the, mind of the public all this time later, as much as it,
Especially for younger people like us. I mean, I wasn't even born at the time,
So I then the song itself though was fantastic. I think it definitely has an early Neil, everybody knows this is nowhere type of a sound to it.
Yeah, to me, I never know it's a CSNY song.
No.
From the second it started, I'm like, this is Neil. So that's kind of my thoughts on this one. It's a fantastic song and meaningful in a much different way, I think, than the rest of these. Not that they don't have fantastic lyrics, but yeah, taking a stand, man. And that, Trey, will bring us to the number one song.
That's right, man. We got going back. I said, y'all remember, y'all. I said
full circle, baby.
Going back to the CSN 1969 record. I know this is at the top of a lot of people's list. We got the sweet Judy Blue Eyes, and I'm looking forward to this because I've never heard this one.
I don't think I have either, but you guys know I say that all the time, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard this.
So it's about a 7-minute long tune, so I'm looking forward to going and diving in. But before we do that, I got to give the facts of this, man. It was written by Stills, went to 21 in the U.S., 11 in Canada. Again, on the top 500 Rolling Stones list at 418. The song imitates the actual classical music suite as an ordered set of musical pieces. And tell us about the title.
Yeah, the title, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, a play on words for Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, refers to Stills' former girlfriend, singer-songwriter Judy Collins, and the lyrics to most of the suite sections consist of his thoughts about her and their imminent breakup. Collins is known for her piercing blue eyes. It has 4 distinct sections. First one's a traditional pop song with 4 verses, lead vocal by Stills with Crosby and Nash performing harmonies. The second section is performed in halftime relative to the first section, features 4 verses of 3-part harmony from the band, with Stills performing a brief vocal solo between the second and third.
And then that third section, a little more upbeat, it says, features poetic lyrics. Each of the 3 phases is initially sung by Stills, with Nash then joining, and finally Crosby rounding out the harmonies. Connecting the phrases are instrumental breaks performed by Stills on the acoustic, and then the final section is sung in Spanish. Ooh, I like that. Stills has said that he intentionally made the final stanzas unexpected and difficult, even using a foreign language for the lyrics, quote, just to make sure nobody would understand it, not even Spanish-speaking people. I like that, man.
So as I get all of that, Trey, this is an intricately arranged, complicated song. So what a build-up! Can't wait to hear it, man.
Let's get to it. And this is actually the very first song off of this. So
They set the bar high, huh?
Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, finishing off our list, coming in at number 1. Man, lots of that one's a lot to take in on first listen, man.
It is. That's what I was thinking. Boy, I don't know, as you mentioned, it's the first song on the very first time. I don't know if I would have come out hot like this, bro, on this thing, man. I don't know.
I see a quote by Nash here from his autobiography. Said, "We realized the most important track would be the opening number because it would set the tone for the rest of the album. It's the track where you can't take the needle off the record after you've heard it, and we had one. Man, did we have one."
True that, man.
I'm with you, though, man. You start off this strong,
like,
people are like, oh my, what a CSN got in store for us, man. But again, lyrically, just gets, I think, to the heart of that loneliness, that hurt that happened in this relationship. And it was obviously with the tempo changes, the different harmonies, different techniques they were using vocally in there. It kept it interesting throughout, and it is just very unique to start a record with such a intricate song.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? Starts off hot. He's like, it's getting, in part 1, verse 1, it's getting to the point where I'm no fun anymore. I'm sorry. Sometimes it hurts so badly. I must cry out loud. I am lonely. Then the chorus, I am yours, you are mine. You are what you are. You make it hard. So there you go, man.
No, man, that really that just hit strong. That first part really could have just stood alone and been a very solid opening number.
I agree. That's what I was thinking.
As a nice song, and then we slowed it way down, got into part 2, just talking about he's talking about the days of the week, this and that. Can I tell it like it is? Listen to me, baby. It's my heart that's suffering. It's a dying, and that's what I have to lose. He knows that he's going to fly away. What have I got to lose? But then he still is asking her, will you come see me Thursdays and Saturdays? What have you got to lose? So I thought that was interesting.
Then we have that nice instrumental bridge in there with Stills, as you mentioned during the reaction.
Stills a very good guitarist, man.
Yes.
And I like the way it kind of went acoustic and electric, and just took us into that very very poetic verse 3 before we got the do 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 do
with some random Spanish stuff thrown in there.
And I think that was appropriate. We ended off the list with those do 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 do's, those harmonizing vocals from CSN here on a list like this. I can see why Rich put that, and many others put that as their number one track. And speaking of tracks, our favorite tracks.
Yeah, that's what I'm spying over here.
We're going to go now to our favorite songs. We pick 3, and on this list, sometimes it's more clear cut which 3 I'm going to pick. This one is not the case, ladies and gentlemen, because this was a strong list from start to finish.
I had 6 in the running.
There wasn't a song on here that I disliked, honestly. Some I like more than others, of course, but I think every tune on here was a solid one. I'm gonna go Our House. I kind of already spoiled that.
You did.
I really did enjoy Ohio, but just for the, it was almost more like a Neil solo track at sea. So I'm gonna, even though I really enjoyed it, I'm gonna kind of give the nod to more, more CSN staples, so to speak. I got to go Helplessly Hoping, which was number 9 on this list. I thought that thing was absolutely beautiful. The harmonies were probably my favorite on this whole list. And then the last one, it's tough, man. I mean, of course, you got Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. I really enjoyed number 10, Carry On. I mean, Deja Vu was very solid from start to finish. Wasted on the Way was really good. But I guess I'll give the nod just for how impressive and out there it was to Sweet Judy Blue Eyes.
Okay, I don't know if this is the first time, but it seems like it might be the first time that we have 3 separate songs, which is cool. It tells you the diversity and the excellence of this. My honorable mention is Carry On.
Okay, there you go.
And Our House. So my faves, and I'm going to actually go back to something I said way back when, but it's just kind of the way it worked out. My favorites are Wasted on the Way, Southern Cross, and Teach Your Children.
Oh, there you go. So some songs you were already a little bit familiar with.
Yeah, and I know, man, it's kind of how it goes, but it's oftentimes tough, when you're listening first time around. But excellent list. I mean, of the 10 songs, 6 of them cumulatively were our favorites, so that tells you the quality of it.
Definitely, man. Of course, we always love to hear from you guys and girls. Tell us what your top 10 CSNY tunes are. We always love to hear from you. Again, big shout out and thanks to Rich for providing this list, and looking forward to doing many more for him here in the future. I know we got John Mellencamp on deck, Heart. We got the Eagles coming up as well at some point. Bunch of stuff that you will probably enjoy if you like this list. So anyways, y'all, thanks again for watching. Thanks, Dad, for all the research. And until next time, happy listening, and we will see you.